Are you allowing self doubt to prevent you from creating the abundance that you desire in your life? Are you allowing your limiting beliefs to keep you from feeling worthy enough to have wealth in your life? My guest this week, Petia Burns, who is a business coach, an abundance coach, works with women to shift the paradigm from this old mindset of having to grind it out, work hard, push harder. It's a doggy dog world to finding flow and freedom and creating not only the life that you desire, but wealth and abundance as well. To hear more about the ways in which Petia teaches this and our conversation on how to help, tune in to this week's episode. So, as Petia, as an abundance coach who works with women to help women create wealth, abundance, the life that they dream about having. One of the things that I know from the work that I do is that many women struggle with self doubt. Self doubt is such a deeply ingrained pattern. So, as an abundance coach and a coach that works with women, how do you help these women to unhook from this pattern of doubting themselves?
I love that question. And first of all, thank you so much for having me and for doing the work that you're doing. I am so thrilled that we keep co creating something together because I truly, deeply believe that the work you're doing, it's what is needed. That's the foundation. That's what we really get to come back to. So I'm really thankful for your podcast, for your business, for your coaching, because when we first time met, I'm like, Kim, when have you been 20 years ago when I was struggling with all these things? And yes, self doubt, it's such a huge part of it because I feel like we are not able to see ourselves and our gifts as women. Because a lot of us, we were conditioned to be people pleasing, to do everything for everyone. We forget about ourselves. That means that we disconnect from our truth, we disconnect from our gifts because we are so conditioned to do other things for other people. So we're not nurturing ourselves. We are disconnecting from our visions and desires and wants. Like we are so like brainwashed that we say, but I don't need this. I don't have to have this. But if there's a friend who calls you at 2 a.m., can you please pick me up from an airport? You're putting on the pants and you're running there, right? A lot of us were this way. And I know you and me, we work through it too. And for me, it's just, Kim, I take these things personally. When I see women who are not living into their fullest potential, when they're not helping as many people as they could, and it to me, it's not about hustling and working hard because when we are doing that's from that wounded place. That's I have to prove myself. That's I have to go out there and show the world. And of course, we could look into the human design and see if you're meant to or not meant to prove yourself because there's a channel for it too, center for it too. But most of us, we're not meant to. Only 35% of the population are meant to prove themselves, but not prove themselves like, hey, I'm not enough, so I need to prove that I'm worthy. You are inherently worthy. And I
Mm.
truly believe that each and every one of us, it's perfectly made for our purpose. Exactly the way you are, the way you look, the way you think, the way you feel, all has been orchestrated in the universe by whoever you believe, source, God, universe. So you're perfect for who you came here to be. But we disconnect from that. We disconnect from the higher power. We disconnect from ourselves. And it feels like we are just connected to everybody else. Why do you think so many people are looking on YouTube on how to do cord cutting, how to disconnect, how to come back to my energy? It's because we forget. And that's what creates the self doubt because you forget who you really are. So when I work with women, it's so many titles, abundance coach, business coach, it really doesn't matter. I really help women to come back to themselves, see their uniqueness, see their gifts, and monetize them. Because some women, they're like, they have such a fantastic gifts. They have so much to say, so much to share. And they're playing it small and they're not
Mm.
showing up and they're self sabotaging. They're keeping themselves busy with things that, in the end of the day, it's not fulfilling anyway. And Kim, let's be honest, we both have those days, right? We're like, I have done so much today. And you're taking shower or taking bath, you're going to bed, and I don't feel satisfied. I don't feel fulfilled. And it's because we are living by other people's expectations.
Mm.
We are fulfilling other people's dreams and not coming back knowing you are worthy, you are deserving of your desires. And this is foundational work. When women come to
Yeah.
me, they have to start there, feeling worthy, feeling deserving, create a big vision for their life that it's for them, not for her husbands, not for their kids, not for their bosses. It's you, not your family, not your friends. What is your vision of your life? How do you want to live it? How does your business fit to it? How does your family fit to it? It's not the other
Yeah.
way.
I love what you're saying. And it's so true, especially for us recovering people pleasers and perfectionists. Because one of the golden rules for a perfectionist, or sorry, a people pleaser, is to live according to the expectations of others. And then add in that we get lost in the roles of being a mom, being a wife, being a good adult daughter, being a good friend, like you just said. And I don't know, Petia, I don't know if I would, and I'm used to be a strong people pleaser. I don't know if I'd get up at 2 in the morning and pick a friend up at the airport, but I hear what you're saying, being like that good friend. So we get lost in those roles. And when we are stuck there, that can consume all of our time, all shouldn't say all because that's all or nothing. Most of our time, most of our energy, because I don't know about other people, but for me, when I was in the throes of people pleasing and those roles, I would wake up in the morning and I was just, okay, what do my kids need? What does my husband need? What does this one need? What do I have to do for this one? What do I have to do for that one? And then I would try to squeeze in a workout for myself, squeeze in a little lunch with a friend or a cup of tea. Like this is years ago. And I would often say, and I wrote about this in my book, that when I was on vacation with my family years ago, same thing, wake up in the morning, I would feel like it was that whack-a-mole game. Okay, what does this one want? What does this one want? What does my husband want? Oh, where do you want to go to dinner? What do you want for lunch? You want to go in the pool? And I would just bounce around doing what everyone wanted to do. When all of my energy and anyone who is listening, when all of their energy is being divided in all those areas, how the heck are they supposed to be thinking about their own dreams and manifesting what they want for themselves? They probably don't even remember, or those dreams are lost, or they're tucked away in the closet somewhere. So, how I know we were saying the work is foundational, and I totally agree that you have to have this foundation, but some women can't even unhook enough to start to do the work and say, I
Mm.
am worthy enough to follow my dreams. So, how do you, or what would you say to that listener that's really stuck and really not feeling worthy enough to even begin to think about their dreams and doing the work? Let's start with there.
I love that question because I know what you mean. Like when you're in it, you just cannot see it and you cannot see clearly.
No.
Well, there are a few things that like I'm seeing coming. So the first thing is what I love to ask my clients is, if nothing ever changes, are you okay with that? We just have to have this reality check. Because a lot of times it's like they say, "Oh no, I wouldn't be okay with that." I'm like, so why you're allowing it now? Why is it okay now? If you would be exactly in the same place that you are today, 1 year from now, are you okay with that? 9 out of 10 people are not.
Yeah.
And I was not. So this would be the first thing that I would ask. And if you're not okay with that, what gets to change? What gets to be renegotiated? Start with the very little things. How can you start like maybe just doing the list of the things that you don't like and you don't want? Because it's so hard sometimes to look at, I don't even know what I want because my whole life I was doing what other people wanted, right? But sometimes it's easier when we ask ourselves, what do I don't want? I don't want to feel tired. I don't want to feel misappreciated. I don't want to feel like I'm a slave. I don't want to feel frustrated. I don't want to be angry with my kids. I don't want to feel disconnected from my husband. What is that you don't want? Make a list of everything you don't like and you don't want, and that you just, it doesn't feel good in your life right now. Then when you look at the list, it's so easy, like write the opposite. What do you want instead? If you don't want to be disconnected to your partner, what do you want? You want a deep, loving connection, all right? If you don't want to be angry with your kids, what do you want? I want to feel fun. I want to feel connected. I want to feel like we can talk or that like I can be with them and I don't feel angry because I am like sleep deprived because I keep working on everybody else's things in the house until late at night, right? So looking at if nothing ever changes, am I okay with that? Two, looking at the things you don't want because anybody can do it, no matter what state you are. I used to be depression, anxiety, really disconnected from myself, harming my body, harming myself, going through toxic relationships, going through bulimia. So I was on complete other end, completely disconnected from me. So if I could shift it, you can shift it. I'm not special. You know what I mean? And this is something that I tell other women. You are here for a reason. Start follow those dreams and desires. You don't have to put anything on the back burner. If you want to change your life, let's see what you don't want. And then when you know what you don't want, look at what you want and just pick three priorities. What are the three most important things for you in your life? What do you want to start working on? You don't have to be overwhelmed with list of 20 things. Look at the list and really be honest with yourself when you look at it. What is pulling you? What is moving you? What is like, oh, I wish I could have that. Oh, I wish I could do that. Just look at those and start reconnecting to yourself. Start reconnecting to your intuition. Start reconnecting to your desires. And it can be as easy as like when you wake up in the morning, instead of like, I gotta make a breakfast for the kids, for what do I need right now? Just ask yourself. It doesn't have to be even the desire, like, I wish I could be laying on a beach and sipping on a coconut, which sign me up for that. But it can be as easy. What do I need right now? Maybe I just need a 5 minute shower. Maybe I just need to make myself a smoothie and then, and it doesn't have to be like this overwhelming big, like packing your stuff and leaving for a week, your family. It can be like, hey, let me make myself tea. While I'm sipping on a tea, I can start making the breakfast, but please start to prioritize yourself. And it can be very little steps, little things, and you will see it's so beautiful because inside of you, you will start to feel different. When you start to feel different, your beliefs will start to shift. When your beliefs start to shift, your action will be different. So you will start feeling differently, your beliefs will start shifting, the actions you're taking will be different, and suddenly the people around you will start noticing. Even if you don't do any like huge changes, you'll feel different than people will feel you. You might be getting better opportunities. You might be getting more quality time for yourself. You might feel healthier. You might feel more health. And all of these things, this is the true abundance in life. Because women come to me and they're like, I want to make more money or I want to have more freedom or I just, but it has to come back to those core desires. Who are you and who you really want to be? And how do you want to be serving in the world?
Yeah. And I love that you just said that because I know there was a time for me where I would say I wanted more money or I wanted more freedom. I wanted these things. I can remember when The Secret came out, right? That was how many years ago? 20, 25 years ago, maybe longer. And I was just trying so hard to do The Secret. And I'm like, and nothing is happening. Nothing is changing. I'm not manifesting. And what I now know today is that my energy has to be aligned with what I'm putting out in the universe. I can say, I want abundance, freedom, I want to be peaceful, and so on and so forth. But if I'm still operating out of my people pleasing and perfectionistic tendencies, and I'm still shitting on myself, and I'm still coming from lack, coming from scarcity, coming from low self worth, I'm not going to get those things because my energy is not aligned. So it's about aligning the energy. And then to also tie in the quote that you shared with me from Wayne Dyer, which is, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So do you wanna say some more about that?
Oh my God, that quote literally changed my life. It did because when I was so it feels like a different lifetime, but it was like 7 or 8 years ago when I was still in corporate. And I just feel like I didn't belong there. And it was so frustrating to me. And I was just like so bitter and frustrated and just operating on a survivor. And then I started to listen to podcasts and reading books and find Louise Hay. And, with that, I found Dr. Wayne Dyer. And when I heard this quote, everything shifted for me because I tried to change people around me. I tried to get them on a higher frequency. I tried to show them there is a better way of living. And anytime we are trying to change someone by forcing them or telling them what to do, 9 out of 10, it's not going to work. It's not. And even if it works a little bit, it's going to be a little bit because it's not their will, it's your will. When I heard this quote, I started to look at things differently. Instead of like hating being in a corporate, I'm like, I love that this is the sponsor of my dreams. Instead of hating the gossiping of my coworkers, I started to be the example of talking well about other people. So I started to be the change, and we were like quoting, right? I was the change I wanted to see in the world.
Mm.
Love this quote by Gandhi too, and was actually the first quote that I put on my first business card I did a million years ago. But that perspective, that quote, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, it starts within. Everything really starts within. And then I also understood, like Kim, it's not about having more money, it's not going to give you more freedom. It's about how you're feeling. It's about the inner peace. It's about living on purpose. It's about living in your magnetism. It's about living in your truth and authenticity. Because when you can do that, you start to do things your way and you're feeling more alive. When you're feeling more alive, people start noticing, and it's just feeling the freedom inside and the inner peace and knowing you're on purpose and you're doing things that matter to you will start giving permission other people to do the same, like you, Kim, focusing on writing your book
Mm.
and doing your coaching and podcasting. Like, that is very important to you, that is on your heart. It's changing lives, it's saving lives. You knowing you are living on purpose because you have done that, you really turn your pain into your message. It is so fantastic because now people can relate to you because they're like, she gets it, she know what
Yeah.
it's like. And you writing your book, again, that's where I started, reading books, listening to podcasts. That's such an amazing starting point for so many who are not grasping it yet. So but you could not write the book 10 years ago. You
No.
couldn't. See what I mean? Like, you had to go through your own contrast so you can now use it and other people can be inspired and now they can start changing their lives. So I am just so grateful for everything you're putting out there because so many people, they cannot even put the words in it. Kim, when we were in it, we didn't know we are people pleasing. We didn't know we are perfectionists. We didn't know we are doubting ourselves.
No.
But now that you did the work, and listen, it can always come back. There are ways. But now we have the tools. Now we have the perspective. Now we have the awareness. Now we have the support and we can bounce
Yeah.
faster.
Oh, totally. And my patterns do still pop up. Just this weekend, a people pleasing pattern started to sneak in because something transpired where I felt I disappointed another person, and I just dismissed it. I put it to the side. I pushed it to the side, and it kept gnawing at me, knocking on the door. I kept ruminating on it. And what I realized was that I can't dismiss or discount my feelings. My little girl inside was still afraid of disappointing this other adult. And there's a part of me that was saying, Kim, you teach on people pleasing. You should be over this kind of thing, right? Like spiritual perfection, if you will. And when I was able to finally pause, and it only took me like a day or two to realize that I just needed to go in and just bring my hand to my heart. And I just needed to give my little girl the love and the compassion that, of course, you wanted this person to be pleased with your book. Of course, you don't want to disappoint, blah, 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 blah. And so then when I was able to give time and space, then I came back online and that was fine. So the point is, yes, that the patterns don't disappear, but we recognize them much more quickly, and we are way more equipped now with tools to know how to handle those types of situations. The other thing I want to say that you're talking about before is, and I outline this in the book, is that for years now, because my husband does very well for himself in business, and we live a very comfortable life. From the outside looking in, one would say that my life is quote unquote perfect. I have it all. She's got the nice house, she's got the good kids, she doesn't hasn't worked outside the home in 20 years, blah 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 blah, nice cars. But what I write about in the book is that all those years I felt like a barren desert on the inside. Just felt empty, the void that ate, because I wasn't coming full circle to what you said in the very beginning. I wasn't connected to my true self. I was wearing masks in the world. And as long as I was doing that, I couldn't come from inner abundance. And now that I have done the work and I have healed, I can have the inner abundance, and I can really now lean into the outer wealth that I
Mm.
have. But I couldn't even appreciate it or receive it before. I could not receive it because I didn't feel deserving.
Mhm.
So, to your point, that it isn't about money and it isn't about wealth. We think it is, but it's having that inner connection first and foremost. Any thoughts on that?
I love that. And I really love your honesty and how you're sharing it because so often people look at us and your life it's perfect. Even though like when I was going through my hardest times, people would like in my first marriage, they're like, "Oh, you're such a beautiful couple. You're traveling the world. You have the perfect corporate job. You're doing competitions. You look perfect." On the inside, I was dying. I was not true to who I am, and it was so hard for me and I felt so much guilt and shame because I should be happy. Maybe there is something wrong with me. I feel like when we can cultivate the inner abundance, when we can really feel connected to who we are, to our desires, how we want to show up in the world, what do we stand for? What are our core values? It's so important. And last week, I was paid keynote speaker at an event here. And this is something, one of the points that I was teaching the core values. They hired me as a confidence coach because the thing is that if we don't know what we stand for, we fall for everything and everyone. So this is one of the foundations. Read the inner richness of your life, and then anything you will create will feel so much more satisfying. I
Mhm.
used to create a lot of money in my past, but I would burn through it like nothing because I didn't feel deserving. I didn't feel deserving to have it. And now when I create the richness in my life, because it's like the cherry on the top. I don't want people to think money is not important. It does bring a lot of comfort and a lot of
Yes.
choices. It is important, but don't sell your soul for it. That's what I'm trying to like pinpoint here. Don't sell your soul for it. Come back to yourself, come back to your truth, come back to your desires, come back to your vision. Create from that place of knowingness. Create from that place of excitement and passion, and you will create so much faster. And the richness you will create in your life will overflow into other areas of your life. And then when you do have the money, when you do have the overflow, you will be actually able to enjoy it and not feel guilty or shameful or it's from my parents, it's from my husband, it was too easy. As women, we are also like feeling guilty when things are easy, right? Why not? You wanted to manifest a good life in abundance. Cares what is it coming from? Who cares what is it coming through? It's coming through for you.
Mm,
So come back to yourself and allow yourself the ease, allow yourself to experience things you want to be experiencing. And honestly, Kim, there is no better things that I have experienced, like in my business, to be abundantly paid to be me. This is no better thing because I'm not people pleasing. I'm not working on the weekends because I feel like I should for my clients. I take time off. I text my clients like, hey, can we move it 15 minutes because I still have baby on my breast, right? So there is so much freedom in my life. And that's why I am freely receiving the money. And it can be easy and it doesn't have to take hours on end. Again, that's going from the not feeling worthy and people pleasing and keeping yourself busy. I work 2 days a week and I create five and multiple 5-figure months. And it's deeply satisfying because I know how to prioritize myself, my family, my desires. And from that, I'm inspiring women to live their lives, their desires. It is so life giving and it's a full circle. And this is what you're doing with your business scheme too. You're living that, you're allowing that, you're receiving that. Now, other people who are seeing you, they're like, if she can do it, why not to me? This sounds actually good. What if I try it?
yeah.
What if it works?
I love
If
what you're saying. It's such a paradigm shift for women. It's such, you know what? It's not even just women. The way that you're talking about creating a life and creating abundance is such a paradigm shift. It's so far away from the traditional masculine approach of grind it out, hustle, you got it. It's a doggy dog world out there and you got to, everybody's your competitor. And so you have to work 24/7. And if you're sick, go to work anyway. Who
Yep.
cares? Right. So, oh my goodness, this is very important. And I want the listeners out there who want to create abundance for themselves with wealth as the cherry on top, because I want to reiterate when we talk about abundance, we don't mean just money. We're talking about everything. It's about how you see yourself, how you value yourself, how you show up in the world, having peace and joy and sovereignty and all of that is abundance. And then wealth is the cherry on top. So I love that you're helping women in this way. If they want to come work with you so that they can make this paradigm shift in their lives, where can they find you?
I feel like the best way is Instagram or my website. Everything it's Petia Kolibova. And I'm very selective who I work with one on one. So what we can do, I'm super happy because if people are aligning with you and your mindset and your heart, Kim, they're my people too. I would absolutely love to support those who are ready. I will share with you the link to schedule magnetic me meeting. Those are for people who are like, I'm ready. I don't want to waste more time. I'm ready. I want to create the shifts. So I will share that with you. And the other perfect way is I'm actually relaunching my signature course called Unapologetically Worthy, because that is really the foundation of everything else that helps on it. Like really coming back to yourself, your desires, rewriting your limiting beliefs, opening up for receiving, and working also on that inner child, because we both know that it is the foundation of everything. And I love that you shared it about the inner girl. So I will share you the link with a special discount code. So it ends up being only $47, which
Awesome.
is just a no brainer to really create that. So I would love to support your listeners this way. But Really, if you're ready and you want to shift your paradigm, you want to create really fulfilling life based on your desires and be abundantly paid to be you, or just living in that abundance without guilt, Magnetic Me meeting would be amazing way to connect with me.
Thank you so much for being such a valuable guest with so much insight and wisdom to offer.
Thank you so much for having me and for everything you're putting into the world, Kim. You're so appreciated.
Thank you so much. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode on how to go from feeling self doubt and maybe lacking the confidence to create the life that you want. You may have desires and dreams that you don't go after because you don't either feel that you deserve to, or you may spend most of your days and your time and your resources taking care of other people, putting the needs of others ahead of your own so you don't have anything left for yourself. Or you may find that you are living your life according to the expectations of others rather than what you want and desire for yourself. If this is the case for you and you want to get unhooked from this long standing pattern of self doubt, not feeling you deserve or you're worthy to have the life you want, to have the abundance you want, I invite you to go to my website, kimgrosscoaching.com, and you can download my new freebie, which is my 5-step power pathway. And if this is something that you desire to have more of in your life, then again, I encourage you to download this freebie. And if you would like to have more support in understanding or going through this 5-step power pathway in more depth, then you can book a call with me and we can chat. I hope that you enjoyed this week's episode